Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Ultimate Entity out here, coming to you live with a little high five. How you all doing out there? I'm a brand new broadcaster here on the scenes, and I'm hoping to make it big with all of you. That's right, I'm hoping to make it big, and I'm hoping to dream big. My goal right now is to help out the common player by making builds and providing strategies to them so that they can enjoy the games that they play, the games that they love. And that is my dream right now, my desire. And so, I'm hoping that all of you out there who are listening to this, who are hearing me out, I hope that you can support this dream and help make it come true. That is what I want to do, most of all. And to do that, I need you guys to help me out. I have a Patreon account, and I need support, financial, so that I may leave my current job and become a full-time broadcaster for all of you. Over the course of time, I will start covering multiple games. For right now, I'll cover this game, Space Lords. I'll cover all the characters of each class, and I'll make sure to go over brief examples, builds, weapon styles for each character, so that you can better familiarize with them. And as I hope to build up a strong relationship with all of you, I hope that you can all come to trust me, as you trust other broadcasters out there. But I'm not doing this for the subscriptions or the views. I'm doing this for all of you, because I've seen players have always had troubled times playing the games they love, and I figured that why not, and help them out. So help me to help you. Donate to my Patreon account and help me get this stream started. For right now, I'll go over this game, Space Lords. The game is based on a 4v1 multiplayer combat shooter style with an RPG touch. The game takes place on another world called the Broken Planet, and here you fight with the team called Herrick's Raiders. This group are trying to repel the three factions from their world. And the three factions are the Hades Division, the Umbra War Dogs, and the Fifth Council. Each of these factions are trying to take control of their world so that they can harvest the very rare resource known as Aleph, a very powerful energy source. Now Herrick is part of a faction called the Locals, and he doesn't want this to happen. So he gathers up all of these other heroes in a bid and attempt to try and rid the world of the human scum, as he calls them. As you can see right now, I don't have all the characters unlocked, but with your support, with your help, I can unlock all of them, and I can be able to provide builds and proper weapon guides so that you can better familiarize and better take advantage of them. I can even help you on how to overcome their weaknesses. Each character fights in a different style, and each character has their own strengths and weaknesses. And I can teach you how to take control over both, so that you can no longer be defeated and be able to fight and hold your ground no matter what difficulty you're on. As the game continues to progress, and as you continue to gain victories, your MMR, or matchmaking rating service, will continue to rise. This will give better rewards, and it will allow you to join up with better players. But you also have to understand that the difficulty will also go up as you claim victory. So be careful, and make sure to strategize and properly equip your character for the coming fight. As you continue to level up, you gain rewards depending on your progress. Depending on what side you picked, the antagonist side or the raider side, depends on how you're going to be portrayed. As you can see, I mainly play as the antagonist. As you level up, you gain resources that are used to allow you to purchase various characters, upgrades, and other items. These can be used to allow you to continue the fight. You have multiple options when choosing your gameplay. You can just use a random play by pressing the X and square button. This will allow you to join a raider or antagonist group, or you can choose to become more single straightforward and choose the mission yourself. comes with a variety of missions that you can actually pick up. As you progress through the campaign, you will have to level up in order to gain access to each mission, to which then you can fight in the final battle. You need to have a unique score rating, however, when fighting in the final fight, and it needs to match the rating requirements in order for you to finish the campaign. After that, you get to then pick a new campaign and continue on the story. Each campaign focuses behind a different faction, and each faction has their own agenda. The locals are trying to find the three protectors in order to help them bid the desperate plan of kicking the human scum off their planet. The Umbra War Dogs are all about being able to acquire Aleph so that their main leader can become some kind of god. The Hades Division campaign allows you to go through the story of fighting against the Hades Division in a bid to stop them from creating an ultimate weapon that could destroy the planet. In the Fifth Council, you have to try and fight against the Fifth Council itself to try and stop them from finding out where the three protectors are, so that you can keep them safe. Each campaign and each mission has their own requirements and their own objectives that you have to meet. Be wary, though, that if you're playing as the Raiders, you will have to be aware that the enemy, also known as the antagonist player, can interrupt your game. You also have to make sure that you have the proper equipment to combat them should the need arise. As you continue to progress, you can also upgrade through your Space Guild level, which will allow you to gain better rewards. With each level up, you gain a new promotion, and with each promotion to your guild level, as you can see, I'm a Lone Ranger. With each one, it increases the rewards, and sometimes it also adds on special prefixes. When you normally start the game, you normally have what is called the reward timer, as you can see on the right-hand corner of my screen. The rewards has a time limit. When that time limit expires, all the rewards are randomly shuffled and replaced on the map, as you can see. Sometimes it might be gold, sometimes it might be a new weapon, and sometimes it could be faction points that could be distributed. It all depends as it's randomly generated. The newest feature that was recently added to this game is something called the Adventure Build-Up Meter. In this, depending on your score of each match you acquire, is calculated. As you continue to progress, you can build up your points that fill this meter up. As the meter continues to fill up, you gain more rewards. Once you've reached a certain number of points, you can claim that reward, but you have to wait, unfortunately, at the end of the month to claim it. So make sure to work hard and work on getting those high scores, because, as you can see, a good antagonist always knows on how to strike, so you have to be careful of players like that, especially of players like myself, who will always try to take advantage of the situation. When constructing your team of raiders, make sure to follow through that you follow each team member and make sure to properly strategize a team that can actually synchronize with each other. The point of this game is to provide a unique team that can actually fight depending on the challenge itself. And like I said before, each character has their own strengths and weaknesses, and some other characters have their own strengths and weaknesses. And if you combine them together, you can be able to maximize the strength of both characters and cover their weaknesses so that they don't have to worry about being pwned. This way, you can actually be able to team up with a better player that can actually take advantage of the weakness you have and cover for it. As you can see, multiple characters allow for their own unique ways of fights. I won't go over the builds, but I'll go over the characters and how they fight. Herrick, the leader of the very raiders themselves, is a sniper. His specialty allows him to use an ability called stalking, which allows him to place himself on almost any surface, be it a wall or a ceiling. From there, he can make sure to take advantage of the situation. If it's from an above view, he can snipe his target from above and be able to place a proper headshot. His special ability is called the Alpha Charge. When he puts through the scope of any of his guns, he can begin what is called a multiplication alpha charging meter. When it fills up, depending on the gun, depends on how strong the shot can be. When charged to full percent, you can place a powerful shot that can do maximum damage. Alicia is the next member of Herrick's Raiders, and she is a shotgunnist who specializes in using the flotation ability. She can float in the sky for a couple of seconds, allowing her to provide death from above. Her shotguns allow her to provide a variety of ways to attack her opponent. Some can explode and some can set them on fire. Lycus Dion, the SOB, as some would call him. He is a straight line forward fighter. His specialty allows him to use powerful short-range shotguns and his own special ability, the Forward Shield. The Forward Shield is able to point in the direction of where you're looking at with your camera. If you're running away, you can point the shield behind you by looking behind you so that the enemy cannot shoot at you. Constantine, a member of the Fifth Council. Heavy weapon specialist, and I guess you can say he's pretty damn good looking. He specializes in his use of heavy miniguns, and because of his heavy armor plating, he's capable of taking a punch. His specialty is also known as right here, called the degravitation. The degravitation allows him to create a powerful sphere that can create an anti-gravity swirl. It can knock his opponents out of the area. Lethal in small areas where there is a gap over and you can knock your opponent off the map. For his weapon of choices, as I said before, are the miniguns. They have massive clips and can do a massive amount of fire rate damage over time. Hans, another member of the Hades Division, jetpack specialist and explosive bullet user. His guns are all primed to utilizing area effect, and his specialty is the jetpack. This allows him to be a massive aerial tactical fighter. This gives him freedom of movement, as he can move faster than anybody in the game. However, his jetpack requires time to recharge between each use. And as you charge it up, you have to make sure to keep count and keep an eye on the meter. Otherwise, if you have to require a recharge, you'll be left at a disadvantage. Dr. Kuzman, crowd control specialist and electrical user. Dr. Kuzman utilizes electric rifles that allow him to deal massive crowd control damage. Depending on the gun, depends on how they're able to effectively target his opponent. His specialty is known only as the electric field, or Blitzwatz. Blitzwatz allows him to create a powerful static electromagnetic effect on the battlefield, and depending on how long you charge it for, depends on how long it stays. It does the same amount of damage no matter how hard you hold the charge. Merely just holding the charge allows it to stay on the field longer. Shay, rifle specialist and hypnotic bewitching effect. Shay utilizes highly accurate rifles that, depending on the gun itself, depends on how the effect can place. Each gun has their own advantage, and depending on how you aim at the target with Shay's guns, depends on how its rate of fire and damage can be pointed up. Her ability of bewitchment allows her to mesmerize a target, making her almost invisible to them. This is an effective, if not almost unstoppable tactic to antagonists, for antagonists are merely just one enemy, and using them on them allows Shay to get close to them and perform a fatal close combat attack. Hive. Close quarters combat specialist and life stealer, or vampire for short. Hive is part of the Umbra War Dogs, and her ability allows her to steal life energy from her opponents. Depending on her gun, depends on what it can provide, area effect or mass drain. What makes her so powerful is the fact that she has to get close, but if she gets close to her target, she can drain them. Combined with CQC, she can devastate her enemy in a matter of seconds. This makes Hive a more anticipated, if not expected, character to be used in most, if not antagonist uses. Mika. Rifle specialist, and I guess you can call her weapon, her specialty, dang it, I usually forget what it's called. She just makes a decoy of sorts, and this decoy is used to be able to confuse the enemy. Her specialty relies on her automatic rifles, so she usually has a fair amount of ammo, and has a high rate of fire. She can switch with her decoys, however, if placed in a tough pinch. However, make sure to keep those decoys out of range, for the target can actually go after the decoys and disrupt them, keeping you from teleporting or switching with your decoys. Genebra. She utilizes heavy plasma weaponry, and her specialty is something called the Jaguar. She can transform into a highly mobile, very quick form that allows her to be able to cross the map in almost a matter of seconds. This allows her to either engage or evade or even escape the fight if need be. Doldrin. Another member of the Localist and sneak specialist. He uses high accuracy pistols that cause high damage. His specialty is called the Spectral. This allows him to be able to send his very spirit, his soul, out of his body and allows him to cover the map. This will allow him to be able to cover areas in which he needs to either escape or if he wants to play a surprise trick on his enemy. Very effective against antagonists. Rak Mira. Rak is a bounty hunter who specializes for the Umbra War Dogs. His unique weapon is a weapon that utilizes heat ammo, as his rifle can show that it's really big. His specialty is that he's allowed to summon up his Pishkas. These little critters come out of that case from the back, and what you do is that you sick them by putting the cursor on your target. Once you've sicked them, they will leave behind a trail that Rak can follow. When Rak follows this trail, his movement speed is increased dramatically, and once the Pishkas reach their target, they explode, leaving behind damage to the enemy and a healing cloud for him to work with. This makes Rak a really good choice in using for melee combat to getting close to his targets almost in an instant. Ayana Quena. Trap Specialist and Hook Line Reeler. Her specialty and her rifles allow her to leave landmines and various other traps for her targets to fall into, and her specialty, the hook, allows her to grapple onto her target, and by simply pulling on it hard enough, by going around corners, she can deal devastating damage to her targets. This makes her good for tactical use, as she is capable of putting a very good pinch on the antagonist. Loth. Wild Beast and Grenade User. Loth is a pure melee specialist. He is truly the most powerful when it comes to melee combat, as his ultimate form, known as the Beast Mode, allows him to do tremendous amounts of damage. However, this transformation has a drawback, as it drains Lof's life very quickly, so he has to stay in constant combat to make sure that he doesn't lose his life, otherwise he'll die. His primary weapon is that of the use of a grenade launcher, and each grenade launcher depends on what effect it can provide to the battlefield. Iyun, Mystic and Alpha Rifle Precision Specialist. Her rifles works almost similar to that of Herrick, as her rifles are incredibly accurate and are single shot. Her specialty as a mystic allows her to take control of the minds of her targets. She can possess a mind of an enemy and turn them against his or her fellow allies. This does not work, however, on special elite units or antagonists. She can also heal her allies by merely pushing her cursor over them and pressing the appropriate button. Valeria, heavy plasma weapons user and dimensional gate opener. She provides a lot of interesting abilities to the battlefield, provided depending on her weapon itself. Sometimes she can open up a wormhole that can provide a creature to come out of, or she can create energy blast from said wormhole. Her weapon provides a lot of damage, as it is a heavy plasma cannon. Don't let her appearance fool you guys. She is one mean broad. Snyder. Weak, cowardly, drone specialist. Schneider provides a very unique tactical role to the battlefield. While he may not look like much, don't let his appearance fool you. Schneider can bring to the battlefield a unique weapon called the Schneider drone. These drones come in 4 different varieties. We'll go over that once I provide the very first video on how to make him into a proper build. For right now, I'll just tell you what he's all about. Schneider's a coward. He doesn't prefer to fight in frontal confrontations. He prefers to let his drone do all the work. And he can summon his drone in almost any location that can give him a tactical advantage. Given the fact that he has a very weak pistol, though. Aneska, mech rider and dangerous war goddess. Aneska is also known commonly as the Scourge of Phobos, having earned her name from that. Her specialty uses in prototype plasma rifles. Each plasma rifle has their own various uses, and her own special ability is that she can summon in her mech to provide combat assistance. The mech can provide devastating firepower. However, the mech is considered stationary, and in order to make sure that it's properly maintained and it continues in the battlefield, Aneska has to make sure to keep shooting it to give it life. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, that's my little intro video and the intro on Space Lords. I'll go over more as we continue to catch up a little bit more. And as you continue to subscribe to my Patreon account and continue to provide your support, I'll continue to make more and more videos just for you guys. I'll make sure to cover every basic need that each character has. And remember, more money means more videos. More videos means more strategies and guides. More strategies and guides means more ways for you guys to have fun. This is Ultimate Entity, signing off for now.